It's the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, the first one ever, not the first bowl game to be held at this field, but the first ever Idaho Potato Bowl between the Oregon Ducks and the BYU Cougars, the winner of this game, looking ahead to take on either Robert Griffin III in Baylor or the Conference USA champions, the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. Both of these teams, they've played on the blue before, and they've had less than good experiences here. Both the Cougars and the Ducks have played here and come away with losses on more than one occasion, once for the Ducks and a couple of times for the Cougars. But the difference in this game is that they're not going up against Boise State, they're going up against each other, and both teams are hoping to come away with that first ever victory here on the blue. The BYU Cougars, they've kind of gone with a dual quarterback system. Well, today they'll be doing it with Riley Nelson because Jake Heaps, due to personal reasons from what I've been told, will be unable to play in this game today for the Cougars. Both teams have had some experience in the past in the BCS Playoffs. This will be, you're taking a look at one of the star players for the Cougars, but the Cougars' first appearance here in the playoffs for a couple of years. They've been here twice, and they made it to the second round once. On the other side of it, for the Oregon Ducks, all 4 years the BCS playoffs have been in existence. The Ducks have been here. They've made it to the playoffs all 4 years. They made it to the second round once and to the Final Four once. That was 2 years ago where they lost to Boise State, and then Boise State would eventually go on to lose to the Arizona Wildcats. But we are underway. Let's kick this one off, and it's going to be Cougar football to begin this game. Let's see what the Cougars can do with it. Riley Nelson again will be taking the lead as the starting quarterback. And he's going to throw it on first down. He's going to screen pass it to the far side of the field. And that's going to be good for a couple of yards, and that's Alpo, Ross Alpo, the second leading receiver on this team in receptions and yards. So that will bring up a second down and 3. Nelson drops back to throw it once again, and he's got a completion across the middle, and that was Alpo one more time. How are these Cougars gonna compete with this high-powered Ducks offense? Well, for one thing, their offense is going to have to do a pretty nice job to try to counter that Oregon offense. Ducks coming in here with just 2 losses to their name. The Cougars coming in here with just 3 losses to their name. 2 pretty good teams. That one's out to the running back, and that was Luigi. Luigi. Now second down and 12. So far we've seen nothing but passes from the Cougars, and this is why. To the house, that's going to be a BYU Cougar touchdown. What a start for Brigham Young University. That was McKay Jacobson, 4th leading receiver on this team, and that's touchdown number 2 for that young man, just burning this Oregon defense. And we were talking about how Bronco Mendenhall and these Cougars were going to have to compete with this Ducks offense, kind of going back and forth, back and forth. That's one heck of a start. That is one way to do it, certainly. Extra point to be knocked through by Sorensen, and here on the blue, we are knotted up. Short trip for both these teams over to Boise, Idaho. And the Cougars jump all over number 5. How does this Oregon offense respond? Number 28 versus number 5 here on the blue, the very first famous Idaho Potato Bowl. They're going to give it to LaMichael James. James bounces around, and he's going to get 4 yards on the carry. Michael James, Darren Thomas, and this Chip Kelly and this high-powered offense here for the Oregon Ducks. This time from shotgun. That's going to be good for a first down. Back up to the huddle now. Everybody rushes. And Thomas is going to run it. Thomas is hit very hard just before he gets to the first down mark. Thomas will be in shotgun, second down and inches. The Ducks are trying to answer the BYU Cougars. Thomas, far side, has a man out at about the 40-yard line. Ed Hockley Jr. is going to mark it at the 39, and here come the Ducks trying to answer back. Can a Duck take down a Cougar? We're about to find out today on the blue. On the blue. So you would think, I don't know, you would think that a Cougar would be more powerful than a Duck. But on this blue, you would think the Ducks would be more at home. I don't know. I'll stop speculating on the wildlife. Second and 11. Thomas to the far side. And that'll be back up to the 38-yard line. So 2 good stops by the Cougar defense, and that brings up a 3rd down and 9. Empty set in the backfield. We got 5 wide for the Ducks. This is where the Ducks are at home. End zone! Touchdown, Oregon! And the Ducks will answer right back with the tight end, Jeff Teague. Touchdown, Ducks. So Oregon will answer right back, and it'll make it a tie game, barring this extra point. And we are all tied up, so 2 offensive possessions, 2 scores. If the way things are looking, this looks like it could be a back and forth shootout. Here come the Cougars. And down go the Cougars. And this is what we said. It's going to be a challenge for BYU. They're going to have to try to match wits with this Oregon offense. Their offense is going to have to try to match the Oregon offense. And that wasn't a good start as they swung it out there to Alpo. And he went down. 2nd down and 10. Any positive coming out of that play was that they didn't lose any yards. Inside handoff to Luigi, DeLuigi, and he's going to go down. He does get 4, though, on the run, so not bad on his part. As you can see the breath coming out, one of the more cold weather bowl games up here in Boise, Idaho. And that's a Cougar first down, so the Cougars are doing what we said they're going to have to. And that was answer the Ducks blow by blow on this drive. And that was Jacobson who nabbed that one for the first down. And if the Cougars can keep up, if they can match Oregon blow by blow on offense, they have a chance to stay in this game. There you see Cosmo and pour himself right out on the track. Ball's at the 49-yard line in shotgun position. Inside handoff to DeLuigi, and I believe that'll be a 15-yard bonus. It will not. I thought he had a face mask, but it's falsely who gets called at the hold. Cosmo doesn't like it, but he's half dizzy. I'm surprised he even knows what's going on out there. That'll bump him back, I guess, 9 yards. It'll be a 1st down and 19 at the 40. Give it to Luigi again, and Luigi is met at the line. Down he goes. Brings up 2nd and 19. Pressured out there to the running back. And 6 yards, and they had the other man in there. That's running back Joshua Quizadilla. Crazy names on this Cougar team. Third down, Riley Nelson to heave it. Looking for the blue end zone. Incomplete. He just dropped it. Couldn't hang on to it. Had an open man. And the Cougars are going to have to punt it away. So, error number 1 for BYU. Giving the ball back to this Ducks offense. It'll be up to the defense now to try to come up with a stop on Darren Thomas, LaMichael James, everyone else. David Paulson, Huff, Josh Huff. Wait a minute. That's a fumble. That's a touchdown. Let's take a look at the replay. What just happened there on the option play? Yes, it bounced off the back of a Cougar on the option play. It was recovered by the defensive back and ran in for a touchdown. So the Cougar defense makes up for the offense, and the Cougars will take a 14-7 lead. On the option, it bounced off the back of a BYU player. I've never seen anything like that. So now the Ducks really find themselves in a hole. And now it really is up to the offense to come back. So one big swing of momentum and BYU reclaims the lead. Possibility for one, maybe two more plays here in the first quarter. And it's going to be just one play as they give it to James. And that is going to do it for the first quarter. BYU, number 28. Leads number 5. The Oregon Ducks, they were left disappointed last year. They were completely undefeated. They thought they were going to make a big run back to the Final Four. They got eliminated in the second round to Nebraska. That was the week after they struggled against Navy. And coming in this year at number 5, they look like they're struggling already. It's Oregon 7 and BYU 14. The Ducks want to make it back to the Final Four for the first time in 2 years, and that's a thunderous hit right at the line of scrimmage as LaMichael James is just sent backwards. Third down and 12 for the Ducks. And I'd have to imagine they're going to go to the air on this play. Indeed they are. Darren Thomas. Incomplete, and he's a really good player and someone that really hasn't been considered much for the Heisman, and you think that's kind of a shame because he is one pretty good player here in college football, one that's overlooked, and that's kind of what the Ducks were hoping for with their 2 losses. Maybe they were overlooked this year and people would not really notice them and they'd be able to kind of sneak by, but that's not the game plan for the BYU Cougars today, because they're coming out firing, offense and on defense. They've given them 7 points apiece. Pass is over the middle, completed. Riley Nelson, who's only thrown 1 incompletion today, is up over 100 yards on that 5-yard throw to Falsely. Nelson gets the low snap, goes to the near side, and knocks out of bounds at the 41-yard line, 1 yard shy. Third and inches. DeLuigi's going to take it, and he's going to go down. Oregon defense holds tough. The Pac-12 versus, well, the team representing themselves from the Independents. BYU moving to Independent this year, thinking it would give them not only a better shot at the BCS Playoffs after being left out the last couple of years, but also, you know, the TV revenue and all that goes completely to them, and they figure it's the best choice. Maybe in the future, everyone will just become an independent. Don't even worry about this conference nonsense. Thomas is pressured, still gets it away, and that's how good Darren Thomas is. Under pressure, takes the hit, but he's still able to float it out there and get it to the hands of his wide receiver, and that was Tunnel for the first down. And Thomas is going to run it himself, slides down at around the 35-yard line, and here come the Ducks. And this is exactly what we were talking about for BYU. You cannot let up on this Oregon team. Once again, the offense stalled out, and now here comes Oregon. Thomas Out to his open man, and easy as that, a touchdown for the Oregon Ducks. Will Murphy, for just his 4th catch of the year, and he races it in there. Touchdown, Oregon. And the Ducks have come all the way back, and pending this field goal from Alando Maldajandro, we will be all tied up at 14 apiece here in Boise, Idaho on the blue at the first ever famous Idaho Potato Bowl. We got going on the other network over in Detroit. The team that was in the national championship last year, Wisconsin, going up against Big East co-champions, the West Virginia Mountaineers. So you can tune into that game during this one, or go ahead and watch it on demand when it's over. So now that we're all knotted up at 14, it's going to be up to the Cougars to try to respond. They're going to go from shotgun, and that's going to be intercepted. Intercepted by Oregon. Big mistake for BYU, and that one was knocked away, or picked off by Anthony Gilden, the senior cornerback from Sin Valley, California. And you see Bronco Mendenhall saying, what in the world? That's interception number 2 on the year for Gilden. So now it's really time for Oregon to try to increase the lead. Play action fake. Thomas rolling out, has a wide open man. He finally goes to him and breaking free down to the 22-yard line. 2nd down and 6 for the Ducks. Look at this formation. You got a back, a quarterback, and another back. And they give it to LaMichael James. James tries to break through, and he gets 4 yards on the attempted run. 3rd down and 2, and maybe they'll just give it to LaMichael James one more time. No, they're going to do it on the little sweep play, and 1st down, Ducks. No, Huff can't get it past. Do they go for it? Do they kick a field goal? They are going to go for it. Here we go. 4th and 1, out of shotgun. They're going to throw it on 4th and 1. That's a 1st down, and that is a Ducks touchdown. How about the play calling by Chip Kelly? It's a 4th and 1. You go in a shotgun, essentially making it a 4th down and 6. And then on top of that, you throw the ball. On top of that, you get the touchdown. And that was to Sumler, the freshman wideout from Miami. Or pardon me, that was Rashawn Vaughn. Thank you for correcting me down there. I was wondering why a freshman would be in there. I was looking at wrong number, or yeah, wrong number there on my roster here. That's Rashawn Vaughn. He of course is the junior. Junior wideout. Well, the Cougars, they got 2 minutes. They have an opportunity to answer. They've done good going toe-to-toe with the Ducks, but only problem for them, the defense has only come up with the 1 stop. It did lead to a touchdown on the miscue on the option, but for Oregon to keep themselves in this thing, they need to go and they need to get a score. They're going to play action, fake it, and caught at the 40-yard line. Here comes the no huddle, and BYU doing a nice job of matching the no huddle with Oregon's no huddle. Another throw over the middle, and that one is batted away, incomplete. Credit Michael Clay, linebacker, on that batted pass. That brings up a 2nd down and 10 for Riley Nelson and the Cougars. Nelson, high snap, fields it well. Inside throw to his wideout, and it'll make it a reasonable 3rd down and short. Of course, that was Hoffman who came in with the tackle, or the catch. And that's going to be a Cougar first down. Cosmo says, yes, please. Cody Hoffman, of course, leads his team in receiving yards and in receptions. He's right behind Alpo, though, for touchdowns. Nelson in and out of the hands of his intended wide receiver. And you see the really nice coverage by the Ducks that forced that one to fall to the ground. And that was Jacobson who lost it. But once again, I'm pretty impressed with the way that BYU is moving the ball down the field, trying to match offense for offense with this Oregon Duck team. Nelson. And the time, too, that the offensive line has given him, that's been key. And that was just really nice defense again by Oregon. He had his open man, and they came up and blasted him, knocked it away. 50% on the third down conversions. They're trying to increase that here on this third down and 10. Nelson. Middle. First down. Cougars down to the 35-yard line for BYU. And that was into the hands of Spencer Hofka. Spencer Hofka, I believe. First down and 10. They hand off. And that's going to be a loss of yards. So down he goes. They go with the second and 13. And that one screened out. And that's amazingly caught. And Hofka caught it again. He's had some late appearances for these Cougars last couple of weeks. And they go with the draw play on third down. It doesn't work out for them trying to catch the Ducks off guard, so they're going to have to settle for a... Well, we got all kinds of chaos. Let's go to Ed Hockley Jr. And offside, so now you maybe think about going for it on a 4th and 3. Let's see what the Cougars do. Does this change the game plan? It doesn't. They're still going to try to settle for the field goal here. It's going to be a long one of about 46 yards. Here's the kick. No good. A very long 46-yard field goal. You may be questioning the decision not to go for it. 5 for 8 is Sorensen on kicks from 40 to 49 yards. So the drive stalls out, and now you left the Ducks with a dangerous 30 seconds on the clock and 3 timeouts. And you see what they're doing. You see what Oregon's doing. They make you pay for it immediately. Here goes Thomas. Darren Thomas gets hit hard, but that's going to be a really nice run. 2nd and inches. Thomas to pass it again. Has his open man. How quick, how furious are these Ducks on offense? I mean, never seen anything like it in all the sports. Thomas again. Looking for the end zone. Batted down. Incomplete. How about that defense by the Cougars? Not so quick, Oregon, says BYU. 18 seconds to go. 1 timeout. Still plenty of time when you think about this Oregon offense. And that one's going to be incomplete. Well, Michael James can't come down with it. And now quickly, we're down to a 3rd down and 10. And potential for a stop here for the Cougars on defense. They just got to come up with one more stop here for Oregon. Thomas. It's not going to happen there. That is into the hands for a first down. It was completed out to Josh Huff. And we have a flag on the play. Pressure. LaMichael James takes it. And let's go to the head referee. Offsides against the Cougars. That will be declined. And they're going to settle for the field goal instead of taking one last shot at the end zone. Kick is good. And that will put the Oregon Ducks up 24 to 14 over BYU. It's going to be an interesting second half. It was an explosive, high-scoring, exciting first half. It's going to be even more interesting here in the second half as the Cougars find themselves down by just 10 points. Can they answer back? The offense has had moments of brilliance. The defense has helped out some points of their own. We're going to send it upstairs to Reese Davis, Lou Holtz, Mark May. And we'll be back for the second half in Boise, Idaho for the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Welcome back to the Blue in Boise, Idaho. We are sold out. Fans from Oregon, BYU, and the fans from Boise who haven't quite left yet to go to the Las Vegas Bowl that's later today are in attendance to watch this one. And Game Tracks, if you're just tuning in, is going to update you and let you know it's been all about this. High scoring, explosive offense, good plays on defense, back and forth points. And where we meet up in the second half is an Oregon Duck lead, 24-14 over number 28 in the nation. So an offsides call against BYU will help the Ducks out a little more. And this really hurts for the Cougars that the Ducks are going to start off. They dare go back to the option play after it failed earlier and led to a Cougar touchdown. They tried again and not much more success for Michael James and company. We go to a 2nd down and 9. Thomas. Wide open receiver all the way to the yellow, and that is an Oregon Ducks touchdown. Rashawn Vaughn gets it one more time. 2nd touchdown of the day for Vaughn, and the Ducks will extend their lead. Extra point will make it 31-14, and the Ducks are feeling happy, and they look like they're about to go to their second round 2 matchup. Still a lot of time left, though. Let's see how BYU answers. They score a touchdown. They're right back in this thing, but right now it's just been a struggle for this BYU defense to come up with stops against Oregon. They had the one big moment on defense, the fumble that was brought back for the touchdown. But besides that, the Ducks have kind of opened it up and ran away with it. Riley Nelson has his open man, and that's good enough for a 1st down. It's Alpo. And you see how well Nelson's been doing today in the passing game. Getting close to 200 yards throwing on the day. And if he can keep it up, BYU could find themselves right back in this. They give it to DeLuigi, and he's trying to find his legs in this game as hasn't quite had the big game that he had been hoping for. For him on the year, he's only got about 546 yards on 100 carries for 3 touchdowns. An incomplete pass. Had his open receiver, and it just hit the turf. And Riley Nelson just trying to get things going right now for his team. This would almost be a situation where you might see Jake Heaps come in. But again, he's left the team for the time being for personal reasons. And over the middle, though, Riley Nelson is able to find Alpo for a 1st down. So hold everything. Don't take Nelson out just yet. He has had a really good day, but as we were saying, it usually goes back and forth for these Cougars in terms of quarterbacks. It's all Nelson's game here today, and he's trying to bring his BYU team back, and that's the 2nd time we're seeing Cosmo laid out on the track. Roadkill right now. Brigham Young University representing the Independents. DeLuigi. Penalty on the play. Holding call against the fullback will back him up. Cosmo, we've seen a lot of Cosmo today. He's been very animated over on the sidelines. Since he's already there on the track, he ought to just run some miles and get some, or run some laps, get that energy out of him. Play action, fake, fumble on the play, and whoo, the offensive lineman saw it at the last minute. It was a linebacker a linebacker blitz. Or the safety blitz, that was John Boynett. I thought he came from the linebacker position, came from the safety position. Now Riley Nelson, 2nd and goal from about the 30-yard line. Nelson, that's going to be batted down incomplete. Eddie Pleasant comes in. So now again, 3rd and goal, and look at where they are on 3rd down and goal. Nelson needs to look for the end zone here. He does. End zone. Is that caught? No, incomplete. What happened there? Knocked away. Knocked away, and then it bounced around. I thought it went into the hands of a Cougar, but maybe not. They'll have to go for a field goal. They missed one earlier. And the kick will be good. That field goal will make it a 14-point game. Just 2 touchdowns down are the I think that might be Tanner. One of our big fans on the BCS Playoffs, Tanner Sperry. I think I saw him in the stands there. Look at him. That's showing some support for your team. Third quarter, here come the Oregon Ducks, all the way down, just pushed out near the 30-yard line. And that's going to really open things up for the Ducks, being that close to the end zone. LaMichael James will take it, and he's going to go down. He picks up 2 on the run. 2nd and 8. Give it to LaMichael James again. LaMichael James trying to push his way forward. Gets another 2 yards on the run. Makes it a respectable 3rd down and 6 for Oregon. They give it to LaMichael. 3 straight plays to LaMichael James, and he's not going to get the 1st down, so a small victory for the Cougars after that really nice kickoff return to hold Oregon to a field goal. And the field goal is no good. So how about that? I thought the lead was going to be increased back to 17. So you run it 3 straight times with LaMichael James, then you miss the field goal, and now the Cougars get the ball back, and they have a chance to cut the lead back down to 7 if they can move. They give it to Alpo. And he's going to get a 5-yard gain. Second down and 5. Riley Nelson over the middle, has his man down into Duck territory. Here come the Cougars. Cody Hoffman, leading receiver on this team, has come through some big plays in the clutch, and there's nothing more clutch than right now for this BYU team. They need 2 scores. They need them desperately. Nelson is going to go down. Quarterback sack for Riley Nelson. You see big number 92 for Oregon getting in there and tossing him to the ground, and that's the defensive tackle sophomore. I'm sure Oregon fans, you know his name. I'm not really going to try that one, but that's his 1st sack of the year. To take us to a 2nd down and 16, and we have a flag. Lots of penalties here in this game today. They're going to call Taylor Hart. So after the sack, it kind of gets those 5 yards right back on the offsides. Riley Nelson over the middle, open man, first down, Cougars. He finds Alpo again, and look at the numbers for Riley Nelson, 249 yards for that young man, for Nelson. The junior. And down goes Riley Nelson. Those 240 yards are the most that he's thrown all year, with the exception of the game against Hawaii. So this would actually be his second most. I just see the Hawaii stats. He threw 363 yards in the Hawaii game. Inside to DeLuigi, and he goes down. 3rd and 18 for the Cougars, and what's been a brilliant drive, and actually that was Brian that ran that one. It's been a brilliant drive, and Cougars are hoping this one won't stall out. Pressure, Nelson's going to go down. The offensive line broke down. And you see Nelson talking with his offensive lineman like, what the heck are you doing on that drive? They kick it back to the Ducks. One more play for Oregon, and then we'll head to the 4th, with it being a 14-point game. Darren Thomas for the first down, and we are headed to the 4th quarter. The Oregon Ducks 31, the BYU Cougars 17. What is going to happen? We have just 15 minutes to go in this one. Stick with us. See the shadow effect starting to cave in on the blue, as we're just getting to about 6 o'clock Eastern time, which would be about 3 or 4 Boise, Idaho time. Option play. Oh, I was going to say, you don't dare option that with the Cougars coming in and cutting off that running back like that. So they're going to stop Thomas and force a 2nd down and 12. Thomas will take it himself, and that's a really, really well-run play. 3rd down and 5. They are into Cougar territory now, 1 yard in. Thomas will take this one at a shotgun. Dropping back. There goes Darren Thomas. Has an opening, and that's what Darren Thomas does. 1st down, Oregon Ducks. And if they get one more score, one more touchdown, I think this one might be just out of range for the BYU Cougars. Thomas throws it, heaves it up there, and that's going to be incomplete. The play action fake, and Thomas just chunked it out to the far side looking for the score, and it did not happen. 4 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Thomas pressured, gets it out to a wide receiver for 4 yards. 3rd and 6. Darren Thomas will take off once again, and that's a 1st down for the Ducks. Oh man, Bronco Mendenhall just put his face into his hands on the sideline after Darren Thomas made that 1st down happen. 5 wide receivers for the Ducks. Now we go to the option play. Down goes Thomas, and that time I'm sure Mendenhall would have liked to have had that play 1 down earlier, which was his team bringing down Thomas in the backfield. Second down. Now 13 to go for the Ducks. Over the middle, Darren Thomas hits his open wide receiver. They are now at the 5-yard line for the BYU Cougars. Sending guys in motion. They're going to option out, and Thomas will go down. And that'll make it a 4th down and 5. So here comes the field goal. And before they kick it, they're going to let the time wind all the way down. What an effort by BYU. When you look at the numbers that Riley Nelson put up, it's a wonder that they only scored 10 points on offense. The Oregon Ducks just had a bend but don't break mentality. Kick is going to be good on that drive, and that will increase the Ducks lead 34-17. And this one was interesting early on. Kind of went back and forth before the Ducks finally pulled away. Cougars, if they can score quick enough, though, opportunity is still there. They're going to need 3 scores and at least 2 onside kicks. They still have all their timeouts, so perhaps even if they don't get one of those onside kicks, they can burn through their timeouts so the defense can hold. But right now it's up to Riley Nelson and BYU. They're going to have to put some points on the board, and that is a really nice start. You get the grab, you not only get the first down to move the chains, but you step out of bounds, and that will stop the clock. And Nelson, we're waiting, there we go. Incomplete. That might have just been like a little desperation heave for Riley Nelson. Nelson will take this one out of shotgun. Going way down the field. Incomplete. And at this point, yeah, he's just looking for anything. He's looking for any big heave down the field that can spark anything for this Cougar offense. That might do it. That's going to be a Cougar touchdown without a doubt. Touchdown, Brigham Young University. And they find themselves right back in this ball game, down by just 11 right now. That was Hofka, Spencer Hofka with the score. Well, it's a 10-point game right now. BYU still has 3 timeouts. There's still lots of time. Here comes the onside kick. Bouncing around, Oregon gets it. So now it'll be up to the timeouts and the Cougar defense. If you can hold them, you get the ball back, you score quick enough, then you'll have to convert on the onside kick the second time around. LaMichael James will take it. LaMichael James with a 6-yard run, and BYU will use that first time out. One first down, though, you almost assume this one is over. And I think as soon as I say that, there's the first down, and this one will probably put it out of reach now for BYU. The Cougars will go through their last timeout and be second down and 6, and they're content to just give it to LaMichael James. Down. But despite this, Oregon's still going to the no huddle. Now Darren Thomas calling some shots at the line. With 20 seconds left on the play clock, they're going to run a play. Down goes Thomas, so Cougars will get the ball back with just a little bit of time, depending on when Kelly wants to go with this field goal. I believe he's going to wait the 30 seconds and then kick it, which would still make it a 13-point game if he makes it. We're saying if. And even then, that still opens it up. The Cougars can score. Well, we got a penalty. A false start, that not only backs them up, excuse me, Ed, but that will stop the clock. So now they have to go for the field goal. That was nearly blocked. And now we have a flag, another flag, and I think it's an offsides call. Well, the Ducks are just going to go ahead and decline it, not even attempt the field goal again because I wouldn't have given them the first down. And it's a 13-point game, 35 seconds to go. There is still some hope for BYU. If you're a BYU fan, you believe at this point. But you've got to score quickly. There is no time for shenanigans. 30 seconds. It's going to need to be perfect execution. It's going to need to be points like this, as we're seeing from Riley Nelson. You're going to need to see throws like this. And then perfect execution on the onside kick. Take a look at those numbers for Nelson. 324 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. When you consider the Hawaii game and then going into this game, 2 career days for Riley Nelson. Nelson going deep. Here we go. Incomplete. And that's what they're going to need to do. Just heave it long and hope that their guys come away with one. We had some movement, but no penalty. Nelson, he's going down. And incomplete. He had single coverage on his man, but too much good defense by the Ducks. So that'll bring up a 3rd and 10. Again, nothing else to do at this point for the Cougars, but you just got to heave it up and hope for anything. Nelson. Ew! Incomplete. Batted and nearly into his man, but once the ball gets batted, all pass interferences are off. As the ball was going towards his receiver, they just laid out. So 10 seconds, there'll be one final throw towards the bright yellow end zone at the end of the field for the Cougars. And you just got to credit at this point the Ducks defense. 4 straight batted balls on that final drive to seal the win, and now the Ducks will move on to meet up with either the Southern Miss Golden Eagles, which is also a pretty high-powered offense, or a high-powered offense in Robert Griffin III. Whoever is covering that game, whichever bowl gets that game, you better get ready to light up the scoreboard, whether it be Oregon and Southern Miss or Oregon and Baylor. Here's your play of the game. Both teams came out here and played really well. For BYU, if you're a BYU fan, I think you got to be very happy with the way your team came out here and played. Lots of good effort on both sides, but in the end, it was the Oregon Ducks, and they'll be moving on to the 2nd round. And they await either Robert Griffin III and the Baylor Bears, or the Conference USA champs, the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. And Darren Thomas, your player of the game. And one thing to look at, one thing to consider, if Southern Miss does pull off the win, I mean, they have the ability. We saw, there's no better high-powered offense in the nation than that of Case Keenum and the Houston Cougars. We saw the Southern Miss defense absolutely shut that offense down. What is that defense not only going to do against Robert Griffin III and that offense, but if they do move on, could that offense shut down this Oregon offense? We know that defense has the ability to do it. We've seen it before against Houston. That'll be interesting to watch. The Bowl Championship Series playoffs, I mean, there's nothing better than this time of the year. These student athletes get to enjoy an awesome week of vacation, get to do some good things for some charitable organizations, and for the Ducks, they get to move on and do it all again one more week. Take a look at some final highlights from this shootout. This offensive shootout between these two. Let's run some stats by you guys, and then we'll bid y'all farewell. Again, there's your player of the game, Darren Thomas, 16 of 20, almost 300 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. But on the other side of it, Riley Nelson did just as well, 324 yards, 2 grabs, 1 interception. For the running game, it was pretty absent when you think of DeLuigi. 5 tries, only 3 yards he was able to get. On the other side of it, LaMichael James, 13 rushes, 35 yards. Both defenses in terms of rushing held him down pretty good. Passing game, then you take a look at your leaders, Ross Alpo, and then Cody Hoffman, J.D. Falsley led the way for them for receiving. Take your choices. Rashawn Vaughn, and then other than that, just spread the ball out way down the line. Defensively, Avery Patterson, 13 tackles, 2 sacks in the game for that corner. On the Cougar side of things, Wagner had 7 of his own. You had Travis Yale, who had 8 tackles. And you see the sack line. No sacks on Darren Thomas compared to the 4 that Oregon had. That can't happen if you want to try to pull off the win against number 5. And finally, total offense. Oregon, 394 to the Cougars, 307. 97 yards rushing compared to negative 17 for BYU. For passing, though, BYU definitely got the Ducks. Third down conversion, pretty even, 44% to 45%. Both teams 100% when they got into the red zone. But you see how many more times the Ducks were able to get into the red zone than the Cougars were able to. Both teams had a turnover, 7 points resulted in that turnover for BYU. And other than that, the rest, pretty self-explanatory. Let's go ahead and get you caught up with the brackets. In the Stanford bracket, it's Oregon, who has moved on, and they're looking ahead either Southern Miss or Baylor, and depending on if Alabama, Oklahoma State, and the teams in front of them win or lose, Oregon will have pick number 5 at an upcoming bowl game. If the teams ahead of them start losing, they'll have an earlier pick. But on the other side of the bracket, Michigan, they await either Stanford or Notre Dame. All that still to come here in the Bowl Championship Series playoffs.